Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching. Now we're watching Cinemasochists now.
This is the first one. I think
this is the first one.
We need a toast. A little toast. Cheers.
Toast. Why are we toasting? Cheers. Because this is the very first Cinemasochists video podcast. I'm your host, Sean. With me, as always, is Michael.
Hi.
Noah.
Hello.
And Sterling. Thank you for
Sterling's here against her will.
We're experimenting tonight, actually, in two ways. First off, we're doing this video podcast, which we've never done before. And secondly, we're doing a whole new marathon, which is going to be a lot more daunting than the biggest box office bombs marathon was, yes. I think. Because there's a Carrie remake coming out, because there's a show called Under the Dome out on television, we decided to pay homage to Stephen King and watch every single Stephen King adaptation he's ever done.
Who I think Stephen King probably played a significant part in a lot of our adolescence and
yeah, I have a feeling we'll get to that as the movies come on. I grew up reading his books and watching the movies, and I'm sure as we get into the early 80s, I'll have a lot to say. But yeah, there's how many? Over 50?
I think there's like 100.
There's a lot, and we're not going to just do the films. We're going to do the made-for-TV movies, the direct-to-DVD
everything,
movies,
student
films,
goddamn thing,
everything Stephen King.
Let's make sure our eyes aren't bigger than our stomachs here. I'm okay with just starting with the movies, but
Oh no, we're doing it all.
Are we doing this all?
Yes, we are.
We're committing? We're committing? Alright, we're committing.
Like we said, she's held against her will here.
Alright.
Luckily, though, tonight we watched what's probably the best of all of them that we're going to watch. The high water mark that's probably going to be...
I will disagree with that.
I will disagree with that, too. But
there's one coming up that I know you're talking about, but this is definitely...
There's a few
there's a couple
in my mind that are quite good. Many more that are very bad.
Yeah. But this is definitely in the top echelon of Stephen King adaptations.
Yeah.
And it was the very first one.
But you're probably not thinking about The Dead Zone.
No.
I like that as well.
We'll get there. In a few months, we'll get there.
Cross that bridge when we get to it.
We have a few years to get there.
But yes, tonight we watched the very first Stephen King adaptation ever. And it was directed by Brian De Palma, and the film was Carrie.
It's the night of the senior prom. The Bates High School gym is alive with excitement. Everybody is there, even Carrie White. The girl no one likes.
We're all sorry about this incident, Cassie.
It's Carrie!
And everyone makes fun of her.
Free, Carrie!
The girl who lives in that creepy house with her crazy mother.
Help the sinning woman see the sin of her days and ways. Show her that if she had remained sinless, the curse of blood would never have come on her.
The girl with the strange power.
If I concentrate hard enough, I can move things.
But tonight, no one will laugh at Carrie.
If you don't have a date to the prom next Friday, would you like to go with me?
She's with the best-looking boy in the senior class.
You're trying to trick me again.
She'll be voted queen of the prom.
You know, I can make sure that you don't hurt Carrie White anymore.
For Carrie, it will be a dream come true. For everyone else, it will be a nightmare. Carrie. A new film by Brian De Palma. Based on the chilling bestseller. Starring Sissy Spacek, Piper Laurie, and introducing John Travolta in his first motion picture role. If you have a taste for terror, you have a date with Carrie.
And we're back. So tonight we watched Carrie, directed by Brian De Palma.
Yes, the first Stephen King adaptation and the first Stephen King book to be adapted. First Stephen King book that he ever wrote.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the first book he ever wrote, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like this movie. Well, first of all, I'm gonna say right away, it's really good.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, and so this is sort of a different precedent for Cinemasochists, and I think it's actually a different kind of cinemasochism watching this movie, because it's so hard to watch, and it is really scary, and really screwed up stuff happens in it.
Right.
But do you want to give a plot rundown, Michael?
Oh, okay. Carrie White is a high school student who is bullied by all the other high school students. And I'm really bad at giving plot rundowns.
Michael, ladies and gentlemen, Michael, excellent
And that
job.
is Carrie.
There's a reason I've only done one before this.
And that's why you don't bully
But
kids.
she's under the thumb of her tyrannical Christian mother, and there's a school prom coming up.
As a prank, the bullies decide to nominate her for prom queen and have the most popular guy in school take her to the prom.
Yes.
And in doing so, she wins. Spoilers, by the way, for Carrie. Her and the date win the prom king and queen, and
It's actually at the behest of the popular guy's girlfriend.
because she
let's go back to the beginning. Okay, Carrie, she has her very first period at 16 years old.
The very first scene in the film is her in the shower after gym class,
rubbing herself down.
It's very gentle. It's like a X-rated soap commercial.
Yep. She drops the soap even.
Yeah.
She even drops the soap. This is really? This is a thing? I don't know.
And then out of nowhere, blood just drips from her legs.
Did you say drip? It looked more like a fucking waterfall.
Blood waterfall from her legs.
It looked like somebody punctured a balloon of Kool-Aid from her legs. It's revolting.
And she had no idea what it was because her mother didn't give her the birds and the bees. And she freaked out and
Thought she was dying,
and all the girls in gym class start making fun of her and throw tampons and pads at her, saying, plug it up. And it's a horrifying scene. And the way it was shot, it's so claustrophobic and in your face.
Yeah, and she's also has blood all over her hands and rubbing her blood all of her classmates.
Yeah, the gym teacher comes in and tries to be like, what's going on? I want to help, and then she Carrie grabs her shorts and is smearing blood all over her gym teacher's shorts. And what does the gym teacher do to this traumatized girl? Shakes her and slaps her. There's a lot of slapping in this movie. There's a lot of abuse. It's but she's an equal opportunity slapper, as we find out later on in the plot.
And we come to find out, after the principal takes her home, or lets her go home for the day, he keeps calling her Cassie, but her name's Carrie.
Within the span of a minute, he messes up her name 4 times.
Right, and she gets really upset, and she ends up breaking an ashtray with her mind. And so here's where we find out that Carrie is actually telekinetic and can move things, break things with her mind.
Well, the light bulb during in the shower was probably the first.
But that's
where time.
We also learned that women's periods are the #1 cause of telekinesis.
True.
I read that on Natural News. Or Daily Mail. I don't know.
You read it on the Telegraph.
So, we meet the mother, who is absolutely terrifying, God-fearing woman that thinks everything is a sin. Having her period is a sin, and she keeps telling Carrie essentially that she's a mistake. And she has some terrible moments with her mother and has to go back to school where all the girls are still making fun of her, still trying to find ways to bring her down. And the nice gym coach, she doesn't suspend the girls, rather, but she gives them detention. And the girls get very mad about that, and so they think they need to one-up Carrie. We got to do some crazy prank. And so
what's the mean girl's name? I don't remember.
The mean girl's name is Sue. Sue, and she's awful, and so she comes up with this master plan with
her boyfriend John Travolta.
John, I can't drink a beer. Travolta.
This is John Travolta's very first movie.
Is it really his first?
I think so. Yeah,
and his very first beer.
Every time he drinks, This guy all over his mouth. It's like, why can't he put it in his mouth?
It's like the guy in Airplane.
I got a drinking problem.
There's a lot of like, there's red everywhere and there's stuff flowing everywhere. I don't know if it's just if people were like getting creative or something, but or if this was really just an accident that like all of the dudes like just have like stuff like falling out of their mouth.
No, I think it's just John Travolta cannot keep the beer in his mouth.
Can't. Yeah. He's like he's got lips made of like a sieve. Little mini mouth.
And so
made of wax.
This plan sort of gets worse and worse, and we find out that they go to a pig farm, and John Travolta basically with a hammer kills a pig, and they take pig's blood, and what they're going to do is pour pig's blood on Carrie as she's having her shining moment as the queen.
And they're going to rig the prom king, prom queen.
Right, so she's in the center of attention. So she's in the stage where they can,
and then meanwhile...
Spoilers.
And meanwhile, Amy Irving and her boyfriend, William Catt, the greatest American hero.
Yes. Who I thought was Roger Daltrey for a minute.
Looks very Roger Daltrey. But they hatch a plan to, like, have Carrie win the prom and, help her, win respect.
Right, there's sort of a battling, like the two... Actually, there's a handful. The handful of bad kids really want to stick it to Carrie and do the pig's blood thing, and then there's the other half who feel sorry for her and want her to feel good, which is why Roger Daltrey takes her to the prom. And it's really tragic. That whole prom scene is a lot to handle. I mean, it's beautifully shot. It's really, really well made, but really tense and horrific.
Yeah, it's the suspense builds really well in that sequence.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just with the rope.
And so when that happens, clearly Carrie's telekinesis goes buck wild, and fires are starting. Her period magic. I'm sorry.
Call it what it is. It's period magic.
Her period magic comes to a full boil.
Yeah.
There's fire. There's people dying. She kills some of the students. Blows everything up. Comes home, and her mother's got candles waiting, and is basically ready to give her the business. And
that sounds like you're making it sound like she is gonna fuck her. She's got candles waiting.
All right, well, then you explain this last.
No, not at all. No, you're better at it. She wants to criticize.
No, she just wants to tell Carrie that she is wrong for going, and that she is a sinner, and that Carrie's a mistake, and all the things that we've known to love about her mother.
But then she tries to kill her.
With a knife, and of course Carrie uses her telekinesis. Spoilers again to shoot knives at her mother.
Yes,
and other kitchen utensils.
Yeah, and she's
period magic. Sorry,
and she's pinned to the wall like Saint Sebastian, which is like a little icon that Carrie had to be stuck in the closet with her.
Saint Sebastian is very prevalent in this movie. They show that a lot.
Very curly hair.
Yeah, looks like Tony Iommi. And
shades.
so
what was the Tony Iommi of the Bible?
I think he had shades.
He did. And basically, Carrie with her telekinesis makes the house crumble. They both die.
Well, I don't think it's her telekinesis that does that, is it?
It has to be. It's the only magic in the movie.
No, but she's running away from it. Like she loses control of it.
She loses control of her emotions. Power. Yeah.
I read the book as a teenager. I remember it hewing pretty closely to what happened in the film. I think what happened, I'm not totally sure about this, but I think stones rained from the sky at the end of the book and crushed the house.
Really?
And I think that they couldn't afford that for the movie. I remember reading that. I might be wrong, but I believe that's what happened.
So instead, they just got a model house and sort of crumbled it. And it was pretty effective. But yeah, I mean, that's in a nutshell. It's pretty much the movie. Now, we've all, except you, have seen this movie. I saw it a lot when I was a kid. I read the book when I was a kid as well, but I haven't seen it in years, and I thought it aged pretty well. But I really want to know, before I talk to you guys, what you thought, because this is about a girl getting her period.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me. No, I'm saying.
As a woman,
as the only person at this table who has had a period.
I'm saying, no, but the book, the source material was...
I can't wait, I'm finally able to tell my story.
The source material was written by a man.
Right.
And the film was directed by a man.
Yeah. Duh.
But I just want to know what you think. That's true. That is true. And all this magic happens. Yeah. And it's just too much for people to handle.
We're too busy with our period magic to direct or write any films. We can't do that.
Being that you've never seen this before, what did you think of all of it?
I
guess both as a woman and as a film, everything. Like, I want to know actually how you feel about this.
I just first of all want to take this opportunity to thank you, gentlemen, for finally giving me a voice. The thing is, I was really. From minute one, I think any female is going to be put off by this, because there's Carrie and before that, like, they're in a high school locker room and it's slow-mo girls running through the locker room and their tits are bouncing and like their full bushes are exploding in each other's 70s faces.
I have seen a few other De Palma films and that is sort of a trademark.
The girls are like whispering and giggling and like one girl's just talking to herself and like letting her tits bounce and her hair fly, Meanwhile, Carrie is in the shower giving herself like a sensual massage. So like from minute one, we have to suspend our disbelief as it is. So it's not like I was like, so is this going to be real? Is her period going to be real? It's like you kind of know that you're in for something fantastic and way over the top from like second.
And very campy from the beginning.
And even before that, like with the volleyball, like they're playing volleyball and volleyball's vicious. That shit's vicious. I actually got in a fist fight with a girl in junior high in volleyball. Okay, I didn't throw any punches. I just got beaten up. But anyway, we won't talk about that. But it's true.
Continue.
But it really...
We were talking about Carrie.
But it's true. So,
not Sterling.
All these emotions, I finally get a voice, and I have to. But it really is like it cuts from her like rubbing her thighs and like rubbing her body to like the shower head like spraying on her. Like it's completely phallic. It's completely sexual, and she's like, rubbing soap on her face. And any girl who watches that is going to be like, she's using bar soap on her face. Oh my god, that was like, and she's just like, and then suddenly like blood gushes like a mad Red Sea waterfall from between her thighs, and she screams like, like she has what do they used to call it?
What?
Like when women were just upset, what did they call
hysteria?
it? Yeah, like she's got like hysteria, like she's screaming and running through the.
But so like De Palma paints a picture of like this idyllic like locker room or whatever, like femininity is like this
but yeah, I thought the non-telekinesis stuff was a little more interesting, but maybe just relatable because it's real life stuff. But they did a really good job doing that.
But of course, if we didn't have the telekinesis, how would we have the massive ending where she shuts all the doors in the gym and
kills
everyone,
them?
And like dies in a burning fiery mess.
The sweet revenge. Of course, which was still a great scene. But yeah, I think overall it was a great film. Were there any aspects of it that you guys thought sort of stood out aside from that?
I don't know. How many movies had Brian De Palma made before this? Was this his first?
No, he had done a few movies before this.
I couldn't tell you what he did before this, but it's definitely one of his earlier.
Because I got the feeling watching it that it was like, I'm going to just pull out all the stops and do every little...
Sisters was before this.
Yeah, Sisters was his first movie.
Yeah, I don't know. But I felt like I'm going to do everything. I'm going to do slow motion. I'm going to do
fast
motion.
Yeah, there's like the reverse thing, like something you pointed out. Something was shot in reverse. Like
So she was shot in reverse at the end.
The end scene.
But he, that's sort of his thing, though, right? He's sort of an over the top director. Like everything he does. Have you seen Scarface?
Yeah.
I've only seen it via every T-shirt that every.
Those shirts represent the movie.
I've seen it via episodes of Cribs and Hot Topic T-shirts.
Right.
I thought the music was really good.
Yeah.
Pino Donaggio did the music, and there are a couple
It wasn't Beirut because it sounded like Beirut.
I don't think those people were born yet. But the music was great, and I noticed more than just the music, there were a lot of nods to Psycho.
Right.
Yeah.
They used
tons.
the stings with the
Yeah,
strings
the
a lot.
showers thing during every time she uses her telekinetic powers.
The score, or not the score, I'm sorry, the school was Bates High.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that is very much there is some, that's very much a De Palma thing, the Hitchcock references.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the music was good. It hit all the right marks. Like, you had the nice orchestral parts, you had the scary parts, you had the montagey disco-y parts.
It's a really tightly made movie. Like, it's not very long. It's like, what is it, like 85 minutes or something like that?
Yeah, it gets to the point.
Yeah, it's none of the scenes are very long. It's just, and it's a good payoff, and it's
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, yeah, aside from the fact that there's a lot of 70s-ness to it, I think.
No, it's
for the most part, it does hold up.
Yeah.
Pretty well.
Super fun.
But yeah, anything else? No.
I mean,
being it's your first time, because there's a lot of things I remember, and
there's a lot of things I'd like to forget about my first time. Sorry, Matt Martin.
Really the name.
So,
don't you?
Remember when Roger Daltrey was in this movie?
Yeah, a little bit of a movie trivia. I guess what's it? William Catt. William Catt was his name. Amy Irving. I guess the casting for this movie was joint casting. It was Brian De Palma and George Lucas. They were both casting for this and Star Wars. And so William Catt and Amy Irving were there originally for Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and I think also Sissy Spacek was auditioning for Leia as well, but it all didn't turn out that way.
Could you imagine if it was flipped?
Yeah.
And Carrie Fisher played Carrie or something?
Wow.
Or Sissy Spacek would have been Leia?
Yeah. That wouldn't work.
No. Good. I'm glad Carrie got all the good actors.
Yeah.
Come on, here's some forward.
And the guy from Cuckoo's Nest, like that's the T-shirt. Like that was, I don't know, I don't remember what the actor's name is, but that's the only there's that scene where he's reading the poem, like reading the boy who asks Carrie to prom, like reading his poem aloud. But all I can hear is him like freaking out in the asylum, like yelling and running around and stuff. Like I can't actually see him I can only see him as the crazy guy.
Right.
It's rough. Sorry. Where were we?
That's good. I think we're wrapping it up.
All right.
I want to rate this.
Yeah, I think I was thinking about that too.
Should we rate?
The way we do it on Cinemasochists,
usually,
we watch the movie and then we do this podcast right away. We're not thinking about it. We write down a few notes. It's very off the cuff. So forgive us if we're actually making up rules as we go along, as you're watching this or listening to this.
But usually, I mean, the
jazz, baby.
Yeah, it's very jazz. But usually, the way we do it generally is that we watch films with the full intention that they're going to be terrible. This is not one of those times, and we're kind of changing the format a bit in that regard.
Right.
So
generally, it's a movie that is supposed to be bad, and we try to find the good in it.
Hence the name, Cinemasochists.
But seeing as some of these movies are actually going to be really good.
Yeah, I guess we can't use the -10.
Right.
But we could, because
we're still
because these movies will run the gamut.
The Cinemasochists franchise.
But since
we gotta do -10.
Yeah.
Do we get a?
There's going to be some -10s out there in Stephen King.
Well, I think can we go over? Can we do -10 to +10 instead?
I'm going to say no.
Because if we're doing -10, I'm not rating these movies I like on a -10. It's just because then
I'm going to side with Michael here. Actually, I think that's not a bad idea.
Because here's the problem. If I'm just rating, if we like the movie and just rate it as 0, then our votes don't count because 0 doesn't add up and divide.
And we're going to have a lot of zeros.
So we're going on a 20-point scale.
Plus, I think the room should be the only 0 personally.
What if we don't rate them? I mean,
what if Postman?
Maybe this isn't about rating the movies.
Maybe we should just.
It should be about rating them.
Either way, I'm giving Carrie a pretty high score. I think this is a highly recommended movie for me.
0.
Give it a big fat 0.
I don't know. I'm going to try and figure out a better rating system for this Stephen King thing. But
we'll figure it out as we go along.
You should figure it out right now. Well,
whatever. I like the 10 to negative 10. I'm into that because some of them are going to be above the 0 and some of them are going to be below.
Right.
That's just what's going to happen. So I think it's a good idea.
Okay.
All right. Settled.
All right.
The people have spoken. That's fine.
People with periods have spoken.
So okay, being
my
that this
period
is
magic has worked.
being that this is your thing, what are you giving Carrie as a score?
I would give Carrie. I'd give Carrie like a 6.
Okay.
I'd give Carrie a 6.
A good 6.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go pretty far and give it. I mean, I would have given it a 0, clearly, but I'm gonna go 8.
Ooh.
I like this movie a lot. It is hard to watch. I gotta say, it's painful, and I don't want to like watch it too many more times in my life. But it is very good.
It's not as painful as a teen campion film, though. Come on.
When she goes, "I've been accepted, Mama." Oh, it's so sad.
It really is. It's heartbreaking.
Being that it's the 8th day of the 8th month, I'll give it an 8.
Oh, wow.
8 is great.
I'm going to give it a 7.
All right.
Yeah, I have a feeling this is going to be one of the highest scored King adaptations.
I don't know. Have you seen The Langoliers?
Have you seen Thinner?
Yes. Have you seen Silver Bullet?
I can't wait till we watch Thinner, because I love Thinner.
Should we do the thing where we hold up the numbers? Isn't that some
Well, we don't really
video?
have...
What's the one with the small? What's the one with the small
let's redo
town
this,
and
and we all-
the chick from?
Hey. There you go.
What was it? It was like.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks.
Sleepwalkers.
Sleepwalkers is the cat one.
Cat one. I think that's the one.
And we'll get there at some point. So thank you for listening and watching Cinemasochists. We'll see you in a couple weeks. What's next, Michael?
Next, we have Salem's Lots.
All right, Sam's Lots next. We'll
All
see you.
you Eminem fans out there. There's the Salem's Lot.
Thank you for putting up with this. We'll see you next time.